Hi, Dana. Thanks for being with us today.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi. So, Dana came to me in March of 2017 with hyperthyroid symptoms and later on a diagnosis of Graves' disease from an endocrinologist. But Dana has totally recovered. It's now, where are we now? We're April of 2018, and Dana has experienced a total recovery. So, Dana, would you like to tell a little bit about your story?
Sure, yes. It was in February of last year that I was diagnosed at my yearly physical with hyperthyroidism and the symptoms thereof, which were really the almost, I felt like I was gonna have a heart attack. My heart was beating out of my chest and my hair was falling out in handfuls. And my nails had started to really get rigidy and crack and dry, and I was very surprised to find that I also had a nodule at that same time. And that was when I decided that I was not going to go down that normal path. I'm a nutritional therapist, so I found your book and read that and thought, oh, now I need Michelle. I need to go on this whole program. I am going to get well. And meanwhile, I had made that appointment with the endocrinologist several months out, thinking that we'd have a few months to work on me before I had to go and see him and possibly go on medication, which I did not want to do. So that worked out well because we got started on your program and I just followed it exactly. Everything that you said, food-wise, nutritional support. And then you had told me to really look at my life and bring balance into it as a caregiver of some family members, which were, I think, the biggest part of the stress that was causing my heart to beat out of my chest. So when I worked on all of that and started bringing balance in, I could really tell a difference. Remember, every couple months I was having those blood tests done and they were getting better. Like after we got started, literally, I think 2 months afterwards, we did blood tests again and it was already better, going in the right direction. So then by the time I saw the endocrinologist in August, although the numbers were still not normal, they were still out of whack, he did diagnose me with Graves. But I did turn down the medication at the time because we were seeing the better, the better outcome at that point. So, and he was nice enough to say he would work with us. And unless my numbers went the wrong way, he'd have to save my life. But we just kept at it. And then what? But obviously, I was on your anti-goiter eating program, which I loved your salmon soup. I think I probably ate that every week. It was so good. And then all the nutritional, but I have to say a lot of it was the balance. I brought a lot of spiritual and God and Jesus. I mean, just a lot of biblical, went back to reading the Bible and really got down to the brass tacks of life and repenting and crying and just a lot of things that had gone in my life when I was younger that so many women, and they're not talking about it, but having sexual abuse in my life and all of those things, just really dealing with that. And not that I hadn't when I was younger, but now when you're being told you could die any minute of a heart attack or a stroke, I mean, life is real then. And do you want to live or you want to die? Was basically it. So luckily I did what you said and really looked at all parts of my life. It wasn't just the food, being in nutrition myself, that was probably the easy part, but it was getting that balance in every area that I think made the biggest, difference. And I think that was your greatest help for me, was really helping me balance that part. And then learning to have my voice. I really feel like thyroid issues, especially when you're that stressed out, a lot of it has to do with having a voice. I was always the people pleaser, so I just want to do what everybody else wanted me to do and be happy and do it, and wouldn't say always what needed to be said. And I learned a lot this last year. So then what did we do? We came along February. I think it was a year at that point, and I said, okay, let's do our test again. I had started gaining my weight back. Finally, I had lost 15 pounds. I was down to 113 pounds, and my weight started coming back on. So I thought, okay, I think I'm getting better. Let's do our blood test. And I was so excited then in February that the TSI was normal, the T3 was normal. I was just a little tiny bit off on my T4 and the TSH. I mean, just a couple numbers off of normal. But that was just amazing. So at that point, I was just like, Michelle, we did it. Oh my gosh, we did it in a year. So I am just amazed, and I'm happier than I've ever been in my life because I dealt with so many things. I didn't leave any stone uncovered. And that's that was your help completely.
Oh, well, thank you so much. You did an absolutely fabulous job. I mean, you really took all of the tools that we had come up with together, and you implemented them. You really, took the bull by the horns and was like, that's it. I am going to change my life. And you did. And through that process, releasing shame and guilt around sexual abuse was a big thing, and having God really be a part of that and bringing God more into your life, that was a big catalyst, right? And standing up for yourself with the caregiving situation and asking for help, right? So asking for help is a big part of it, I think. And you just did, I don't know, you're like the perfect client. You did everything right. And here you are today, completely recovered and looking beautiful as ever. And
Oh,
I'm really happy to have been a part of your journey.
oh my gosh, Michelle, thank you. So I turned 60 in December, didn't have those blood tests yet, but I knew, I said, you know what, I'm healed. I could feel it. And I've now put the weight back on plus a couple pounds. And I actually feel better than I have probably felt in 10 years. Like, it's amazing. And it is amazing what you can do when you deal with things and learn how to deal with them. Like, you helped me in so many ways, really. I mean,
Oh, well, it's been just such a pleasure to work with you. And thank you so much for sharing your story with my community, because it's really going to be inspiring for a lot of women and some men too, to know that, it doesn't matter what your diagnosis is, you can take control of the situation, you can change your life, and you absolutely can totally recover. So thank you for being such a beautiful example of that.
thank you so much for your help. I just love you. Love you forever.
Yeah, okay, we'll talk soon. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Bye-bye.